Hey everyone, welcome to Walks with Moss. We're going to try this turkey burn thing again because I am determined to have a turkey sandwich in the woods and enjoy it. And Bella's just ready to go hiking no matter where we go. So let's go do it. Once again, we have a lovely inversion today. So down in the low country, it's foggy and the air is filled with smoke. And up here, just a little bit higher, clear skies, sunshine. It's wonderful. I was really sure to get everything I needed this time. I got my winter kit. I've got 2 lighters, I've got matches, I've got a hand warmer, got my winter stove. Repeated the word lunch over and over again until I grabbed my lunch out of my refrigerator so I'd be sure not to forget it. Drove most of the way to the trailhead and realized I didn't have my lunch. So I have to repeat the word lunch until it's in my pack, I guess. Went back home, got my lunch, and finally we're getting started. I maybe could have stopped at a convenience store to get lunch instead, but I am determined to have an enjoyable turkey sandwich in the woods today, so that's what's going to happen. Here we go. It's going to be much more pleasant out here today. We went to do our turkey burn on a Friday, of course, and the woods was full of yahoos. Well, now it's Monday after the long weekend. It's so much quieter out here. Here we go. What we used to call Zeller's Polite. Now it's called something else. And the new common name is the dark purple bolete. Let's take a look under there. Beautiful mushroom. Maybe I'll pick it on the way back. I ate them before and I didn't care for them. But I've read it's got a lemony flavor, so maybe I should use them in a dish that needs lemon flavor. The moss hanging down from that branch is Isothecium stoloniferum. And we are back to where I had my freezing cold turkey sandwich and could not eat my pie. I'm feeling really lightheaded today, so I'm going to sit here and rest for a minute. And then I'm going to do some mushroom hunting. I'm glad I came back to the exact same spot because here's my USB-C cord that I've been missing. Left it right here. I also left a rubber band behind. That will be when I dumped out my entire pack to find my car keys. That's a nice find to have that cord back. I can't believe how lightheaded I am after that walk-in. Just gonna sit here for a while and eat some homemade raisins from grapes that I grew, and hopefully I'll feel better getting some food in me. Not quite ready for my turkey sandwich because I want to have it with hot coffee. And I've already had 2 cups of coffee today thanks to going back home to retrieve my lunch. Look at what the sun is doing over there. That is gorgeous. I need to take some still photos of that. It's gorgeous here. The thing with the sunlight streaming through the fog is so ephemeral, and it's just about gone now. I'm glad we were able to capture it. Isn't this a beautiful spot? Since the weather's gotten colder, I've decided to bring my cat stove instead of my pop can stove. So here is my cat food can stove. It's made of the bottom of a mini 7-Up can. On the top is a small cat food can, the cat stove. This cat stove burns quite a bit hotter than the pop can stove. The trade-off is it's less efficient, but in the wintertime, it's worth it. Just pour a little denatured alcohol. I'm actually using heat, although cans of denatured alcohol are probably a little bit more efficient. So I got my denatured alcohol in there and light it. Yes, I have a lighter. I have 2 lighters today. And then this goes on the top, and it acts as kind of a insulating layer. Helps keep the reaction going. Here's my windscreen. It's made out of some sort of stovepipe venting stuff. I've punched lots of holes in it, and it already had this spot right here that holds it together. It's perfect. This is the first time I found something that can act as both a windscreen and a pot stand and be effective. So my stove's there, it's lit. It doesn't really need to be warmed up like the pop can stove does. So let's get my water in here. I'm just using my cup to measure it. There we go. Now I'll put my titanium pot given to me by an ex-boyfriend on there, and my measured water and my lid. And this will boil pretty quick since it burns so much hotter than the cat stove. And I've got my pre-mixed coffee here, but I'll probably just have hot water because I've already had 2 cups of coffee for now. This will be boiling in no time. Cheers! Here's what we came for today. The winter chanterelle. These are actually frozen, but I still think they'll be okay because they can withstand frost. I don't think they'll rot when they thaw out. It's always a possibility though. So, well, hopefully they don't. So the winter chanterelle is Craterellus tubiformis. Its name hasn't actually changed. It's got this umbilical dimple in the middle, and it's got veins instead of gills, and it's delicious. It's so delicious, but it's not actually a chanterelle. Let's pick some. Here's another deep purple bolete. iNaturalist called it Xerocomus zelleri, but I know the name of it has changed. Gorgeous mushroom. I guess it's probably frozen like everything else out here. Tons of these beautiful yellowfoots. My fingers are getting cold, but I'm going to keep picking as long as I can. Here's some Hylocomium splendens moss right here, or stair-step moss. And here we have a liverwort. This is Scapania bollanderi. It's not a moss, it's not a hornwort, it's not a vascular plant. It's a liverwort. And this, however, is a moss. This is a dicranum moss. And here we've got a little hemlock tree. Little baby hemlock. This is our salal. And this is our Oregon grape. And here's our Craterellus tubiformis. Yummy! These pick so clean. I love that about them. They're quite frozen though. I think they'll thaw out just fine though. Look how clean those come out. Hardly any washing will need to be done at home. These are small, and when they dry up, they turn into almost nothing. But they have the most savory, wonderful flavor. And when they grow in big enough clusters, then they're worthwhile to pick. We've got another cluster right here. If you have to pick them one at a time, it takes a while, but when you can grab a cluster of them at once, then it goes pretty quickly. I do love these. These are just so delicious. I hope we have as good a season for these as we did for the real chanterelles this year. Here we have a frozen chanterelle. And these do not thaw well. When this thaws out, it's going to rot. If I wanted to eat this, I could take it straight home and cook it before it thaws. But I'm just going to call this season over. See that? Frozen. Completely frozen. It was a great season for our Cantharellus formosus. Or is it Formosa? Whatever. The Pacific Golden Chanterelle. It was a great season. Bye-bye. I'll see you all next year. Moving on to the winter chanterelles now. I had to stop picking mushrooms for a little bit because my hands got too cold. So I just wandered around a bit to see what I could see. And now, I guess I'll have coffee, even though I've already had a lot of coffee today. Why not? Need to keep warm. I wandered over into the second growth forest nearby. And what did I find? Lots of frozen chanterelles, of course. But at least now I've got another spot to look for chanterelles next year. And while I was wandering around, I found this. Headless Matsutake. 2 of them. 2 headless Matsutake. I have a theory about how this happens. I think it's deer. I think deer pull them up and then only eat the top and don't bother with the stem. Because people wouldn't do that. Yep, I think that's deer. So I've got a new possible Matsutake spot now too. That's pretty cool. I found some coral mushrooms here too, and this is one that I think I ate earlier in the season and I was fine. But it's completely frozen, so I don't know what it'll be like when it thaws out. I don't know how winter hardy coral mushrooms are. It's cold enough that I can see my breath. Yeah, winter is definitely here. Isn't it, buddy? Yep, winter's here. Where's your winter coat? Why aren't you wearing your winter coat? Cheers again, but this time with coffee. It's too cold to do a lot of mushroom picking, so I'm going to spend a lot of time just walking around here with my hands in my pockets and observing mushrooms. There's a witch's butter. And there is a russula. What else can we find right here in the same vicinity? Here's a Lucaria lacata. There's a Canis domesticus. Yes. And here's some more winter chanterelles. There's so many of them here. And I'm being followed by a dog shadow. Aren't I? Yes, dog shadow. These big trees here are Douglas fir. And these are old growth. I don't see any old growth stumps here. If you go back there just a little ways, you're into the second growth. But right here, there is a little bit of old growth. Isn't it glorious, though? And our old growth can get much bigger than this. I suspect this was left behind because when they came through taking out the old growth, this wasn't as big as some of the others. Maybe there had been a natural fire through here before the colonizers arrived and started logging. Who knows? It's glorious, though. More mystery russulas. The woods are full of mystery russulas. Ooh, look at this one, though. I think this is the shrimp russula because it's purplish. I don't think russulas thaw out very well. See these bits of orange down here? That's clay pigeons people use for target practice, and this is the reason why I would not want to camp here when the gates are open. It would be way too noisy for me. Too much. They should have picked some of this up when they left, but they didn't. Here's a russula growing right next to it. I'm guessing this is Russula brevipies, as much duff as it spends pumping. Could this be a hedgehog? It is a hedgehog. All right. And I've been recently told that this is now called Hydnum washingtonium. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there's a woodpecker. That looks like a very cold drink. We're going to wander around a bit off trail in this young old growth. I so badly want to find a cauliflower mushroom. You don't generally find them when you're looking for them, though. I should probably pretend like I'm looking for something else. That would increase my chances of finding a cauliflower. We've wandered into an area that's been logged a little bit. There's a few stumps around and a gas can. Welded steel gasoline can. Danger, flammable. Made in the USA. Eagle Manufacturing. 1.6 imperial gallons, 2 US gallons. This has been around a while. The fact that it was made in the US and tells us both imperial and US gallons tells us that. There's something kind of interesting that happens here in the Pacific Northwest in western Washington. Our climax forest, that is the forest, the end-stage forest, if there's never been any disturbance, is not Douglas fir, it's hemlock. These big trees here are Douglas fir. And they can live to be, I think, about 1,200. But their seedlings cannot grow in the shade. So these can't breed here anymore. And once they get to be 1,500 or so and fall down, they'll be completely replaced by hemlock. Hemlock seedlings can grow in the shade. So if this forest was allowed to live long enough that these Douglas fir all died, it would then become a hemlock forest. And here's all the little hemlock trees waiting in the wings to take over. Douglas fir has thick bark to help it withstand fire. That's part of how it survives. When there's a fire, then there's a clearance, and then Douglas fir seedlings can come up. When there's any kind of disturbance, human or natural, then Douglas fir seedlings can grow. And if the land doesn't get disturbed again, then eventually it becomes a hemlock forest. When you get up high enough also above the Douglas fir line here, you'll be in a hemlock forest. And a lot of those were not logged because the logging companies didn't like hemlock. So if you get up around 3,000 feet, even here you'll find old growth hemlock forests. In some cases they cut down all the hemlock just to get rid of it and left it in big piles. But you can still find a lot of old growth if you get up high enough above the Douglas fir line. Below the Douglas fir line though, finding old growth is pretty tricky. Here we have the fragrant russula. It smells like almonds or maraschino cherries. It smells wonderful. It, however, does not taste wonderful. I just like to carry them around and sniff them. Here's a Chorogonphus tomentosus, the orange mushroom in my hand. I'm still carrying the fragrant russula around. This is actually technically a bolete. Most boletes have pores, but this is a gill bolete. It's in the bolete family. They don't taste that nice, but I sure think they're pretty. These are no longer frozen, and they have thawed very nicely. It's a little bit more pleasant to pick these now that they're thawed out. My hands are a bit less cold. Maybe I can get a big bunch of these after all. Bella, would you like a treat? Yeah, you go, buddy. There's a treat for you. Going to sit down to one last cup of coffee and one last turkey slider. Then going to pick a few more winter chanterelles, and then we'll head out of here. It's 2 o'clock and it's going to be dark at 4:30. It's already starting to feel a little bit dark. Sun is long gone. I think we're done. Having trouble with the GoPro again. I have some aftermarket batteries that don't work in the cold even when they're above 80%, and I've got one of those in there right now and it's failing on me. I've got some new GoPro brand batteries coming in the mail. Those work until they get to 30% in this kind of cold. Having 2 of those should be enough. Let's see if we can talk about one more mushroom before we go. I think this is an Aenosope. I don't know for sure what this is. I'm guessing a Nasopi because it seems like the cap might be a little bit fibrous there. I don't know. Maybe it's that sweetbread mushroom, which I haven't found yet. There we go. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a Hebeloma, but I don't know. It looks like it's probably going to have white spores. Here we have Phalia schwinnitzii, the Dyer's polypore. That's a bad sign for this old tree. Oh, that's a snag. Okay, tree's already dead. Okay, time to hike out of here. Yay, we had a successful turkey burn. I want to point out the turkey sandwiches we had today, I prepared Sunday and I froze them Sunday morning. So they're not turkey from like Thursday that we're eating today. I mean, it is, but we froze it in between. Anyway, thanks for watching. Not sure what next week will bring. I might go candy cap hunting again. I think maybe candy caps can withstand frost. I'll have to do some research and see. Mushroom season is definitely wrapping up now. Thanks for watching. Please share the video, comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Bye-bye.